point of contact. To reach all the other gallant sons of Atiam who are not lucky to be physically here because they've gone to the great beyond. May the good Lord grant them the everlasting.
Amen.
What I have to say will be a little bit personal. In a way, I'm happy that this event is taking place here. The military barracks. Facility belonging to the military, which gave birth to their Lekwot, which also created the circumstances for his ordeal. So I think this is a coming home, and it's also a form of redemption for the things that those who struggle for justice stand for. And I think that somehow, no matter how long things do go around and come around. Do you have the picture? There's a photograph online. Nobody is helping me with it. But in between, I'm happy I came in as my friend, Hassan was speaking president. I thought I had it. If anybody deserved to be in prison, then the father that deserved to. And I say it, whether military or civilian, he deserved to be in prison. But that is also important because the world knows those who, if they had been in prison at the time of Jesus, they would have been in prison. But we also know great men, Nelson Mandela, who were in prison. So prison is not necessarily, it's a mark of honor. It depends on what you are in prison for. This young man that you see, very handsome, his name is Father Benedict. And he's a priest of the Diocese of Zaria. The reason why I look for, I'm sure he'll be very embarrassed, and people from Zaria might be embarrassed, but this young man, when the father of his mother was one of those who stood trial with General Lekwot. And at the time of the trial, the mother was really pregnant with him. And when I went to see him see her in the hospital, when she gave birth, she said I should name the young man Kukah. As an act of defiance, I decided to give him the name Benedict because of justice. Benedict. And I told the brother, I said, this justice who actually is a communion receiving Catholic, and perhaps I believe he's a great man. But I said, the Lord vindicates his own. Today, he's a priest of the Catholic. I don't want to repeat the things that have already been said, but I think today is a very, very special day. Southern Kaduna, in a way, we are very grateful to God that Zango Kata happened. Because many Yorubas, many Southerners got to know that Kukah was from Southern Kaduna, they got to know about Zango Kata, but they got to know. And right now, it locked Zango Kata and the Atiam people public memory. So even if it's for that alone, I don't think many of us imagine we will live to see a day of this nature. But it also tells you that when we are struggling for justice, we wear the shoes of the long distance runner because you don't know how long the journey is going to be.
Yep.
If you read my book, Witness to Justice, my experience in the Kukah panel, there are two critical chapters. One is the chapter that deals with the struggle of the Kukah people. The second chapter is the one that deals with what I call the tribalization of justice. And the trial, whatever you call it, the mock trials, It's called a mock trial. If you were a mock trial, and you would not be, you wouldn't have been sentenced. If mock trial is just like play, but this is a serious matter. But I think that when I looked at, I'm not a lawyer, but one of the most outstanding things about that trial is that I don't know if there is any other case, miraculously, mysteriously, the records of that judgment disappear. Up to today, those records cannot be found. During the Oputa panel, and after that, we wrote a letter, Ministry of Justice. I can tell you the name of the permanent secretary, but I will not. And they told us that they can't find the records. So, as I said, it's just to say that the very fact that we're here today and that you are allowed to tell this story, it's a lesson to all of us. We might assume, and I think we are right to assume, that the worst times in our history are over. But let us remain eternally vigilant. Because what we have and what we hold is a treasure. This is a heck of a country, and it's a great country. And people have laid down their lives for this country. I used to say to Nigerians, we are just joking because we don't know what it is to be without a country. What did the people of Gaza do? What did the people of Lebanon do? What did the people of Valencia do? We're hearing stories of earthquakes and incredible things happening and sweeping the lives of hundreds of thousands of people on a daily basis. But in Nigeria, it is us who are collectively turning the knife on ourselves. So I think that going forward, the most important thing for you as a Christian is to develop the spirit of forgiveness, and that nothing will happen that is outside the boundary of the divine will of God. I'm not going to say God will that you will go through this, but God's grace is enough for you to live eternity story. Others are not as lucky as you. And finally, while you were in prison, I don't remember his name, but the Daily Trust newspaper interviewed one of the people who was serving with you. And he said something that I thought was quite interesting. He said, look, because Zango Kata from 1992 was preceded by other Zango Katas that are not recorded. Because this guy told a story of what really happened. He was saying that he was so grateful to God. Sometimes a slave can become comfortable with his chains. He was so grateful to God that even serving this prison, he can see toilet paper with his eyes. He can see toilet paper. Then he now went back and said, an earlier Zango Kata, a crisis that happened with the actual people, and not necessarily the Hausas or the Fulani, against the Nigerians, 1958 or thereabout. He said he was in prison, but in that particular prison that he was serving, what they used to do was that they will empty the feces from the toilet, and then they perforate the buckets, and then fill them up and put them on their head and throw away. So by the time you make this journey and come back, their body is full of. But again, the system deliberately made sure that you had no access to water. Now, you might say that one form of slavery is better than another form of slavery. But slavery is slavery. My general, my brother, their place in history is pretty well secure. The very fact that you stretch beyond ethnic, beyond religious, you stretch the arc of justice. So ordinarily you would say people will tell Nigeria, what concern you with the Almajiris in Kano? But human beings are human beings. And this country has been destroyed by a toxic view of culture and religion. that is unable to redeem us as a people. So I want to thank you and thank all those in the justice system who continue to struggle for those who have no voices, for those who have nobody to speak for them. Our brother and our friend Richard Akiola, you know that you take on a project of this nature, and like I said in my foreword, it's phenomenal. I want to thank you. Also to suggest that very often people who defend us are not necessarily those who were born with us. So please, one good thing that should come out of this, for us having learned this lesson, Kaduna State is a state that we must build. Time was, and time will be. But Kaduna was where everybody wanted to be. Now God has said to a point in which Kaduna is a place nobody wants to go to because of the corrosive effect of what the experience is. There is no inherently no problems between Christians and Muslims, no problems between, just a problem of people unable to hold together, people who don't think like them, who don't pray like them, who don't walk that way. This is not the way life is. So the measure of a good society is our ability to collectively work together. I want to thank you very much for even indulging me because I came here. I wanted to be here much earlier, but I had to go. I had an appointment with you. You appointed by the ambassador. So once again, very much thank you very much. Excellency.